Hi everyone, we are working on brief exercise 11-6. Hopefully everyone's doing well this week and keeping up with homework, understanding what's going on. This is a pretty basic question. Let me start off just reading the beginning of the question. It's the stockholders' equity section of Grouper Corp's balance sheet consists of common stock at $7 par for $840,000 and retained earnings of $460,000. A 10% stock dividend of 12,000 shares is declared when the market price per share is $16. So we want to show the before and after effects of the dividend on the components of the stockholders' equity. So the first thing we're going to do here, this is obviously a stockholders' equity problem. And if you have any questions, the best section to follow up on is going to be section 3B in chapter 11. So what we have first starting off here on how this would look, you're going to choose a stockholder equity and then paid in capital. And the first item we're going to put under paid in capital will be common stock. And we're going to go right through before, right from the problem, we know that there's $840,000 in common stock. Now that is a calculation based off of the total number of shares. So we're going to put 840,000 here. We're going to divide that by 7, and it's going to be 120,000 shares of stock, common stock at a par of $7. So just keep that in mind. The very next item is going to be paid in capital in excess of par value common stock. We are at 0 at this point because it is how we are beginning off before the dividend. The total paid in capital is going to be $840,000, and the retained earnings here are $460,000. So we're going to enter that number in as retained earnings. And if we add those two up, the total stockholder equity before the dividend is going to be $1.3 million. So hopefully that makes sense for everyone. Let me go now to after dividend. After dividend, we're going to have common stock. We're going to have a 10% stock dividend. They tell us it's 12,000 shares, but remember we did calculate it's 120,000 shares before. After, it's going to increase by 12,000 shares. So this number, the 924,000, how we get that number is we're going to calculate 132,000 shares, multiply that by $7 a share, and that is where we get the 924,000 shares or dollars. The paid in capital in excess of par value common stock is going to be the increase. So we increased our shares by 12,000 shares, and we know that these shares were sold at a market price when the share was $16. So if you subtract out the par of 7, let's do this. You do sold at 16, subtract a par of 7, and you're going to get $9 a share, which is the excess per share we're going to sell. You can multiply that times the increase in shares, which at 10% of the shares is going to be 12,000 shares. And the total is $108,000 for the paid in capital in excess of par value common stock. The next item, when you add these together, add that to 924,000, you're going to get the number 1,032,000, which is the total paid in capital. And the total paid in capital, the difference between these two numbers, between 1,032,000 and 840,000, is going to be the difference that we'll have a decrease in our retained earnings. So we do the math there. Subtract 840,000, and the number is 192,000. So we are going to then subtract from the retained earnings number before dividend. We will subtract $192,000, and it will give us the new retained earnings after dividend, which will be $268,000. We then will take our number of 1,032,000 and subtract the 268,000 to get the number. Wait, sorry. I got to start over here. You're actually going to add these together. So 1,032,000 plus the $268,000 is going to equal 1.3 million. So you can see the total stockholder equity will match. We know that there will not be an increase or no change to the total stockholder equity when you do have a stock dividend. So that helps us know that we have the right answer there. And then part 2 of this problem in B, show the before and after effects of the dividend on the shares outstanding. We know before the dividend, when we do the math with the 840,000 divided by $7 per share, we get 120,000 shares. After the dividend, which was 12,000 shares, we can add that total, so it's 120,000 plus 12,000, and our total is 132,000 shares outstanding. Hopefully everybody understands this. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to help everybody out. Make sure we have a clear understanding of what we're doing this chapter, and everybody good luck.